All right, guys, so in this video, Matt is going to spill all the juicy details of all the crazy guest stories that he's had renting Myrtle Beach oceanfront condos, those short-term vacation rentals right here at the sand dunes and a handful of the other resorts in our market. He's going to tell you every crazy story that you've ever wanted to hear and every nightmare guest, and also how he beats Airbnb and the guest from cheating him out of his well-earned money. All right, guys, let's get in 904. Now we have Matt Freeze here. As you can see, he is tearing apart his unit, but all for good stuff. Check this out. So, Matt, take me to school on what I've caught you doing in here.
Oh, so basically, I came down here yesterday morning, pulled up all the carpet, threw down some LVP. Now I'm just putting up the finishing trim to finish things out in this room. And then tomorrow morning, I'll start on this room. This is how the room looked before. I mean, it's a mess, but it was just ugly, dark carpet. It brightens the room up a whole lot.
Yeah, you can see if you look between that carpet and that room right there, man. And then you also put LVP flooring in the living room.
Yeah. So I came in here on a Monday, ripped up the carpet. By Tuesday afternoon, I was done with the LVP through here, and then Tuesday afternoon, I decided to put in a fireplace.
Yeah, that's a nice wall right there, buddy.
Thank you.
Nice accent wall.
Knocked that out in about 4 hours.
Really?
Yeah. So all of this was done in 24 hours. We put the carpet and everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing the transformation you can make that fast.
Oh yeah. No, because the dark carpet really makes a difference. Now this really pops, especially for the pictures, because you can see right out to the beach. You can look at the fireplace. This helps in off-season rentals for sure.
Really?
Oh yeah, because people want a fireplace in off-season.
Oh, that's right.
Where else
colder.
is Santa Claus supposed to come?
Yeah, exactly. So I've noticed that you've had a consistent theme throughout your units where you're doing the fireplace and the flat screen on the accent wall. Mm-hmm. You've obviously got the cool picture back here and the LVP flooring. I mean, is this the secret sauce?
It definitely helps. Updating your unit. A couple years ago, I would said, "Hey, leave it the way it is." But now people want updated units.
The market's changed.
It has changed.
Yeah, people have bougie taste.
Yes, and they can now. Yeah. Because before all these units were outdated. All of them were outdated. Now, people want an updated unit.
They're coming in. They're buying them up. They're remodeling them and they're putting them on Airbnb.
That's right.
And it works. All right, Matt. So, real quick, let's just talk real fast about. Hold on, I gotta find my place. Okay. So, Matt, how do you navigate financing for short-term vacation rental properties, especially being an out-of-state investor?
Well, so, I am a mortgage lender.
Come on.
So
I knew it was coming.
Before it was a little difficult finding lenders back when I started 8 years ago to find lenders that would lend on these condos. And I realized there was a niche for it. So then I did my research. I found investors that would do it. I financed my condos. And then once I had enough condos to make my passive income, I decided to make the leap into the mortgage lending business. And that was the first thing on my plan is, all right, I need to be a lender on condos because it's hard to get financing there.
Yeah, exactly. So you found a great niche that you could jump into and hopefully build a competitive advantage and hopefully take over that market. Come on.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot of people reach out to me wanting to know more about the financing and also about rentals. So it's a one-stop shop.
Yep, exactly. So basically, you've got the experience and the know-how on top of being able to get people financed.
Right.
Yep. So are there any creative financing methods that you've used at all?
So, a lot of the stuff I do is DSCR, basically debt service credit ratio. As long as it's going to cash flow, you're pretty much golden.
Yeah. So guys, what the DSCR is basically it's a loan where, you have to have a threshold credit score, of course. However, you don't have to show tax returns or bank statements or anything so long as the property cash flows positively.
Right. And besides that, a lot of the investors here, I will do a cash out refi on a property that they currently own, use those funds, move them over so they can buy another one. So that way they're buying properties with no money out of pocket.
Guys, you're hearing it right here from Matt Freaks. He's letting you know how to do it. You know, doing HELOCs and stuff like that, that is a very, very viable strategy that a lot of people use to pay that down payment money on that next purchase.
Right.
Yep. Okay, so real quick, talk about being out of state though. Is there any, is there any particular challenges, or does technology just pretty much level that playing field? It's not even a big deal.
Yeah, technology is great. Like, I don't feel like, basically years ago it would have been tough.
Yeah.
But yeah, now
super easy.
You can always find somebody, especially if your guests in your condo, if they need a mop, right?
Yeah.
You can Instacart them a mop in 5 minutes or 10 minutes, and you're only paying a little fee.
Super easy, super simple. Technology's made it super easy, guys. Okay, and I often tell people about that. I have people that are concerned to get into the short-term rental game because they're like, well, I'm super busy. A lot of the investors that I work with are super busy. They're small business owners just like us. They have a full-time job, and they're investing in their free time with the capital that they're making from their full-time profession or small business. Now, Matt, can you speak to how not time-consuming oceanfront condos are?
So at first, after I bought my first one, I said, oh my God, there's no way I can get a second one. Like you said, technology has made it easier because there's an iCal. Your cleaners have a program that syncs with your iCal to automate things, and I use a third-party program that really helps me automate things.
Yep. And do you mind sharing that?
Yeah, it's HostAway.
HostAway, right there. Third-party program, makes it simple and easy. And I was talking to another investor recently, and basically he uses a service called Hostiva.
Yep.
They charge 10%, and he doesn't really do anything with the rental. They do all of it for him.
They do everything, yes.
I don't know how much easier that could be as far as a short-term vacation rental. 10% is not a lot of your profit, and they're doing all the work.
That's right.
Yep. All right, so you obviously manage your properties yourself, right?
Yep.
Can you speak to, hiring a property manager versus do-it-yourself management?
Well, so yeah, it depends on how much time you have. I do the math. I want that profit. So I, manage it. Not only that, yes, there's amazing property management companies here in Myrtle. I can name off a couple, but they can help you increase your profit. I'm pretty good at it. I've been doing it for a long time, so I know the little niches, little things to do to increase the rentals.
Yep. Is there any tips that you'd share?
Well, so one of my things that I like to butt up my reservations, right? Like, I don't want a weird Monday, Tuesday gap. So a lot of times, if I have somebody check it out on Sunday or check it out on Monday, that Sunday or Monday, I'm going to drop the price for that one day with a 4 or 5 day minimum to try to make somebody, who wants the window that I'm offering fall in that category, that window.
So that way you don't have any wasted space, basically.
Right.
It's always being rented.
And that's because, somebody explained it to me before, on an airplane, when the airplane takes off, if there's an empty seat, that seat has zero value to it.
Yeah.
And so
they're all that fixed costs, and they're spending that money,
right?
But they're not making anything for it.
So I stay full. Is at what rate varies.
Yeah.
But I stay full.
But you've done the math, and it's better to offer a cheaper product and stay with bookings back to back than it is to just shoot for.
Most of the time.
Most of the time, okay.
You always have the clients. I had a gap, a 2-day gap. It was Sunday, Monday.
Yep.
I dropped the price. The guests went in there. They broke the TV, shattered the TV. I was only going to make like $80 on their stay when the dust settles. But I have started claiming and charged back to the guests through Airbnb. So I'm just waiting on them to pay for that. But overall, most of the time, yes, you usually.
Now, in your experience, do you have a lot of vandalism?
No.
No.
Because
Can you count on one hand, over the last 8 years, how many issues you've had like that?
I can name off one time, and they weren't even mad. The guests weren't mad at me. The guests were mad at the resort. They were doing drugs in the unit. The resort escorted them out. I didn't even know about it, but apparently, as on the way out there, they decided to grab their eggs and just throw the eggs all in the unit.
Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah. So the cleaners cleaned it up. I had to touch up some paint areas, stuff like that.
Yeah, that's not too bad. So in all the years that you've been doing this, only one vandalism case.
Right. You always have one-off cases, like a guy fell off a stool and his head went through the wall. But they paid for it.
Does that happen all the time?
Not often, but it's happened. I've got stories.
All right, come on, share some of these stories. I want to hear this. So a guy literally went through the wall.
Yeah, his head went through the wall. Well, so they tried to cover it up. Luckily, so I had the owner's
Did they slide the picture over it or something?
No. So it was at the breakfast bar, right? I guess it was after a night of drinking. The guy kind of passed out, fell out. His head went through the wall. So the next day,
literally through the wall.
Oh yeah. So the next day, they took a Budweiser box, right, and they went in the owner's closet. So in the owner's closet, I had caulk. I had.
They did not.
Oh yeah, I had drywall mud. I had paint in there. So they took a Budweiser box and caulked it to the wall, and then painted over it. They mudded it, painted it. Luckily, a good cleaning company they noticed it and said, "Hey, this wall wasn't like this before," and it just looked a little weird. And
So you basically came in there and kind of put your hand through the wall.
Oh yeah. Luckily they caught it because,
Now, did you charge them anything? Or?
Oh yeah, they apologized. I was coming down that week anyway, so I was like, hey, don't worry, I'm gonna patch it up, but it's gonna be $100.
Yeah, you got to pay for that. Guys, you gotta trust me. You made it to the end of the video, but you need to click the video that's on your screen right now to hear how Matt Freeze makes $15,000 to $30,000 a year in annual profit off each of his 8 Myrtle Beach oceanfront condos. That's over $180,000 in average annual profits right there in passive income each and every year. Click the screen now.